Hey everyone, it's Kathleen here, and today I have another mini album for you. This is a star pop-up mini album, and you will see in a second why it's called like that. And before I show you how to make an album like this, I want to give you a quick flip through of the finished product. And I mostly used the Maggie Holmes Create Paper Sweet Story collection and also mixed in some bits from Sunny Days from Maggie Holmes. And so here you can see why it's called a star pop-up mini album. If you open it up like this and put it on your table and look at it from above, you can see the star. So this is what you need for the mini album. You will also find a full list of supplies in the description box below. You will need 5 pieces of white cardstock, 5 by 10 inches, and also 6 pattern papers, 5 for the inside and 1 for the cover. And the one or the single-sided pattern papers are actually perfect for that. So first of all, grab your 5 by 10 inch pieces of white cardstock and then just score them in the center on a long side, so at 5 inches. Make sure that your score lines are even and then use your bone folder to reinforce the creases, just so that the pages will fold nicely later on. And when you are done with that, you can grab your pattern papers that you want to use for your inside pages and your paper trimmer, and then trim them to 5 by 10 inches each. Now take your scoreboard and a bone folder and score all of the pattern papers on a long side every 2.5 inches, so at 2.5, 5 and 7.5 inches, so you should have 3 score lines in the end. Basically dividing this paper up into 4 quarters. And then you will want to fold your paper accordion style, so one crease goes down, the next one goes up, and the next one goes down again. So the center score line should go up. And now you want to repeat those steps for every pattern paper that you've trimmed down. When you are done with that, you can now grab your die cutting machine and the die you want to use to cut out the window for the pop-up window. I tried several different dies. I tried an oval one, but finally decided on a circle die because my album will be square, so I thought that this would fit best. I think an oval die would fit, or an oval window would fit really well for a rectangular shaped album. And obviously you can adapt the sizes or the dimensions of your album as you wish. To cut out the window, you will want to place your die directly in the center of your pattern paper. And you can see here that I used a black Sharpie to mark the center of the die, and that way I can place it directly on the score line. And now just repeat the same steps again for every pattern paper. You could also switch up the die you want to use. So for example, you could use a circle die on one page, a square or a star or heart or whatever on the next page, and so on. Next, grab your white cardstock again and adhere all of those 5 pieces together. I use double-sided adhesive simply because it's very strong and I don't have any smudges or anything like when I use liquid adhesive, but you can obviously use whatever you prefer. So I placed the double-sided tape on the back of 4 of those white cardstock pieces, and then I just adhere them back to back, like you can see here. And make sure that you line up your edges perfectly so that in the end the album is straight and your pages are not wonky. When you are done adhering all the white cardstock pieces together, your album base should look like this. So basically like a star already, kind of. The next step is now filling every page with a photo and one pattern paper. And for that you will want to cut down, or first of all print your photos in a size that you will have a 5 by 5 inch photo in the end. And now take your photos and your scoreboard and score them at 2.5 inches, so directly in the middle. Repeat this step for every photo, and one advice I would give is not to reinforce the crease line too much with your bone folder, because depending on what photo paper you use, it may kind of destroy the paper or the print a little bit, so that the white paper will show underneath. When you have decided on an order for your photos, adhere them all in place. You can use double-sided adhesive or liquid adhesive, whatever you prefer. Now you also need to decide on what pattern paper you want to use on which page and adhere them in place again. And only place adhesive on the two outer parts of the pattern paper that I marked with an X here. Otherwise the pop-up effect won't work. And also make sure that none of the adhesive goes over the score lines. Now that the base of the album is almost finished, we can add the magnets and the ribbon to close the album. You don't need magnets, you could also just use a ribbon, but if you have thin disc magnets, this is a great project to use them on, especially because then the pop-up effect, so when you open up the album, will work even better, just because, of course, the magnets keep the album open. Otherwise, you will just use the ribbon to tie it together and keep it open that way. If you want to use magnets, then use some strong liquid adhesive and glue 2 of the magnets to the back of your album and let it dry. Then place the counterparts of each magnet onto the ones that you placed on the back and put liquid adhesive on the back of those magnets, and then press your album together like this. That way you can ensure that the magnets match up perfectly and the album won't be askew. Next, place your ribbon in the center of the front and back of your mini album, and you can use liquid adhesive or double-sided adhesive to keep it in place. It doesn't really matter because we will add another pattern paper on top for the cover, so whatever adhesive you use will be covered up anyway, and the ribbon will be secured a second time with the other pattern paper. The pattern paper you want to use for your front and back cover has to be cut down into 2 pieces of 5 by 5 inches. You can use the same pattern paper for the front and the back, like I did here, or you can use 2 different pattern papers, whatever you prefer. When you adhere the pattern papers to your cover, just make sure that you don't cover up the spine of the album, otherwise it won't open up all the way and you won't have this pop-up effect. this is what your mini album should look like now. Now you have finished the base for this album and you can actually start embellishing all of your pages. You could add even more photos to the side of each page, you could add embellishments, journaling, whatever you like. I already showed you my finished project at the beginning of this video, and I will also include some more detailed shots at the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions or if anything's unclear. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care, bye!